Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I don't know about you, but I am so happy that it's weekend and a long weekend today. We are here today with me, Lynne from Kaboutjie, and Judy MacGregor from Fun Mama SA.
Hi.
And we are going to talk about how to become a fun mom. And I'm going to be taking some serious notes because I follow Judy online and she's always got the most amazing posts. It looks like she is like a really fun mom. And I've spent a day with her doing what's that little hunt called? A
Scavenger.
Yeah, and some activities with her and her son Hamish, with my two children, and it was fantastic. So first of all, I just want to remind everybody that we are doing a giveaway. So you can join us in the comments on social media, and that will enter you into the competition. Or you can click on the link in the description and you can join us live on video and, I don't know, ask us questions, join in the discussion, and let's just have a awesome, fun Friday. So first of all, Judy, for my readers and my viewers, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Judy, obviously from Fun Mama SA. I am the mom of 7. I am a granny of 1. I've taught extensively. So currently I write for a living, but I'm Hamish's mom most of all. Over and above everything else, I'm Hamish's mom.
Awesome. I'm just going to put Judy's website up here. So if anybody wants to go and follow her, it's funmamasa.co.za. And then we are also streaming to Judy's page today. So for everybody that's thinking, who is this lady? I am Lynne Huysamen. My mommy blog is called Kaboutjie.com. Boom. I love this software. So that's where you can find me. And I'm a mother of 2. I live in Saldanha, and it's a very nice, quiet little life. And I just sit at home, play with my kids, and write on my website. So I would love to hear from everybody. So we've already got 9 comments. Oh, we've got Kajil. I hope I'm saying that correct. We've got Elaine, Karen. Ooh, Kajil can't wait to hear this. She wants to be a fun mom. Me too. I asked my children 2 days ago, I think, whether I'm a fun mom. Boom. I'm not a fun mom. That is the verdict straight from my kids. So I need this as well. We've got Charlize, and Kajil is also a mother of 2, and she is a stay-at-home mom. Awesome. And I think the stay-at-home moms really need a bit of guidance here on how to keep the kids entertained and have some fun at home. We've got Elaine, mom of 3. Awesome. Good morning, ladies. And then good morning, Patricia. You are, oh, shame, her son said she's boring. Patricia, you joined in on the live video side. If you want your comments to be viewable and to into the competition, I recommend that you slide out of this and you come back in on Facebook, on my page, Judy's page, or on YouTube. And if you are here and you want to come live on video, you can connect your camera and your audio and give me a thumbs up in front of your nose. And when you do that, I'll know you are actually wanting to come up on video, because some people don't want to. And then I can pull you up and we can have an awesome chat. Cool. So, Judy.
Yes.
I mean, what is a fun mom?
Okay, so I actually wrote some points down so that I didn't forget to say anything. So when you asked Callisto, were you fun? I asked Hamish, okay, so what is a fun mom? And he said to me, it's magic. And I was like, okay, so for a 4-year-old, what is magic? And I had to, to reevaluate that into adult terms. And pretty much, a fun mom is adventurous. She's always ready for an adventure. So whether that adventure is a real adventure, like climbing in your car and doing a road trip, or whether that's turning supper into a Friday night picnic in front of the stars. So she's adventurous. She's not afraid to be silly. The amount of times Hamish and I make up these words. Just this morning he went, I love you like a linky, 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 whatever it was, and I was like, okay, I love you like a linky, linky too. The rest of the moms at school may have thought we'd lost our minds, but a fun mom is not afraid to be silly. So you meet your child and play. wherever you are. That is, I think, is the biggest one. A fun mom is not afraid to get down and just play with her kid. You know, it doesn't matter what you're doing. So I had emails to do the other day, and it was St. Patrick's Day, and I desperately needed Hamish to actually just leave me alone for a few minutes. And he was all about the leprechaun. And I was like, can't you go and find the leprechaun hiding in the garden? Okay, because he still wanted to play, and here I was, and I really needed to work. Essentially, I was still playing with him. I just met him in his level of play at that time. Taking the time to connect, that is really important. We're really, really busy. So if we're taking time to connect with our children, our time especially is when we walk to school. That's our best time, and we're able to, talk about things and play over things and go over how he may be feeling, because during the rest of the day is just too busy. Meeting your child's love language.
Oh, big.
Yeah, huge, right? Some kids may love sensory play, others may not. Some may be totally engrossed in words of love, others may prefer a gift. So depending on your child's, their personality as well as their love language would depend on what kind of fun mom you are. Because to Hamish, like, painting himself in paint is amazing, but to one of our other friends, painting themselves is like the most anxious thing he could possibly think of. So I think meeting your child where they're at in their love language and according to their personality. And get your child's input. I love that you asked Calista if you were fun. I absolutely love that. Your child's input's important. My teenagers do not think I'm fun. They do. If you had to ask them, I am the least fun mom ever. It's fine. My 4-year-old loves me. So yeah.
Yeah, but I think that kids they love you in the beginning, and they love you and they love you and they love you. And then they get a little bit older. And I think there's a big dip that happens around the tween years and then the teen years. And then it hits like rock bottom. And then I think when they're older and they move out and they start realizing what mommy's done for them. And especially when they become a mom themselves, I think then they're like, it's going to go up again.
It's usually between that 20 and 30-year phase where they love you again. But anyway, from 12 to 20, you're just not it.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's 9 now, and I'm not cool, and I must not hug her and kiss her outside the school. In fact, the further away I am, I must still be there, just not close, preferably hidden behind a big boulder.
But you can still be a fun mom doing that, because you're still able to.
She's going to be like, you're a creepy mom.
No, then the thing is, you guys can have your connection time in the car.
Yes.
So driving to school could be your connection time. So this is where you guys are going to be able to say, okay, you know what? I really love that one song that you're listening to. Let's pop that on and have like a mini dance party in the car while we're going to school. Or how about we play an I Spy game, or something just to connect you, so that when she disengages and she's like, hey, I don't actually want you here right now, it's a safe space for her. She knows that when she gets back in that car, she's got that fun-loving mom. But could you just not be there at school, please?
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So a fun mom is adventurous. She's not scared to be silly. I'm not scared to be silly. My kids are very scared when I act silly, especially my daughter. Anyway, cool. So let's go. Can anybody be a fun mom? So can you train me and teach me to become a fun mom?
100%. 100%. So the first thing I would say is meet your child in play. That's the first thing. And connect with them. Those are the first two things. Even the mom who thinks I'm not creative, because so many of us I often get a lot of comments on my page, just so creative. You seem to have all these ideas. You do not need all the ideas. You do not need to be 100% creative. What you really need is just to connect with your child and to meet them and play. So I have a full, if your child, to me, if your little one is whiny, run a bath. Because my grandmother's advice, it works. Put in bubbles, bring the toys, sit there and chat to them while they're playing. We add food coloring to everything. People who know me know, like, we can add food coloring to any food, from green oats I tell a lovely story about when my kids were young and we were literally living on one income. And we got down to, when you live week to week, and we got down to that space where we literally had a little bit of jam, some oats, and some green food coloring in the cupboard, and that was it. Like, this was what these kids were going to eat. And they'd been eating oats for a week. And you know how kids are, the monotony. And I looked at these little ones, and my daughter had a friend sleeping over, and I was so embarrassed. And I'll never forget, it was the worst time of my life. I had to make these kids these volcanoes, right? So I made them green volcanoes from the oats, and the lava was red jam because I had no sugar. So they had this volcano for breakfast. This little girl, many years later, when I met up with her as a 20-year-old, said to me, "Auntie Jude, can we have green oats?" I remember it being the absolute lowest point of trying to feed my children. She remembers it as being her biggest adventure. So yes, anyone can be a fun mom. All it does is again, just meeting your child in a sense of play and making things more creative or more fun.
I absolutely love that. And you know what, when you shared that story now, you know what it reminded me of? Who's that woman, that Kuzmic?
Yes. The blogger online.
What's her name? What's her first name?
Nope, haven't got it.
Oh no! Does anybody know? Guys, in the comments, come. It's one of those things that's going to stick in my head. But she wrote a book, and it was called "Hold On, But Don't Hold Still." So I remember the name of the book, but I can't remember her first name. It starts with a K. K. I'm sure it's a K. Nobody's giving me the answer now. Usually, when I get this, then people give me the answer in the comments. Yeah, so, but she shared about how, like, also she was a single mom, and she was so down in the dumps, and so could barely feed her children and keep a roof over their head. And for her, that was the lowest point in her life. And she shared about how she tried to make it fun for her children. And when she shared something a while later with her kids about how she struggled and how hard it was, they said, no, it was fantastic. They all shared a bedroom. They don't remember the fact that the mom couldn't afford to have a house where they had like their own bedrooms. They all slept in the same big bed. Christina Kuzmic, thank you, Bianca.
But this is it, Lynn. We are so beholden to what we think it should look like, that sometimes we need to just let go of those preconceived ideas and just, make it a little bit more fun.
Yeah. And I love that woman as well. Ooh, I would love to have her on my live, but I don't think that will ever happen. One day I'm going to stalk her, inbox her, and just try, because
I'm joining you on that live, okay? Because I think she's amazing.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. So yeah, I think it's really important to remember that, our kids don't remember things the same ways that we do. And, even if you have only oats and jam and a bit of food coloring, you can do some amazing stuff with that. Yeah. Now let's get on to, how can I be a fun mom?
Okay. So to be a fun mom, because this is what also a question moms ask. Okay. You need to ask yourself, what's stopping you from being a fun mom? That would be the first one. Is it that you feel you lack time? Do you don't believe that you can be? Do you not think that you're creative enough? And then to say to yourself, what does a fun mom look like to me? So one of the reasons why I called my page Fun Mom ASA was because I always strive to be the mom I never had. So, to me, I wanted to be that mom that when I was 6, that's the mom I wanted. And again, in my classrooms, I always wanted to be that teacher that I'd wanted. So that would be your first question, because it does look different for everybody. A fun mom is not necessarily someone with extreme anxieties may not want to go skydiving with their teenage children. I don't. Someone who has sensory issues may not want to be the mom painting or the mom busy doing sensory activities. A mom who is more, who has less time might find it incredibly difficult and more anxious, bring up more anxiety, trying to fit in being this ideal fun mom. So the idea is to ask yourself first, what would be a fun mom to you? So if I had to ask you, Lynn, what does a fun mom look like to you?
Well, I think it's a mom that puts down her phone, puts down her work, and gives full attention to the kids and just gets down on their level and kind of brings out their own inner child. That would
You see,
be it.
so now my idea of a fun mom is this mom who's constantly on the go and she's really busy and her kids are always happy around her and they're constantly doing stuff. So our personalities bring out different types of moms. So there are different types of fun moms. So instead of us striving to be one ideal type of mom or one ideal type of fun mom that we see out there, is to take our personalities, take what we like, and mold it to be that mom we always wanted when we were kids.
No, don't get me wrong. I'd love to be that energetic and fun mom that's always on the go. But
Yes.
where do I suck that energy from? Because I'm hitting a brick wall here.
It comes from Santa in coffee.
It's not enough. I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
What coffee do you drink? What brand? I mean, maybe.
Coffee and I. Coffee. Can I have an endorsement? No.
Okay, this is Nescafe, so maybe I need to switch. Maybe it's what's in the coffee.
You know, we could put it to test next week.
Okay, I'm going to make my note. Change to be coffee.
No, it's done. Okay. No, but anyway, as I said, anyone can be a fun mom. It really just takes meeting your child where they're at and not being scared to try things. So we made green pancakes the other day by adding food coloring. Listen, food coloring and I'm sure I keep them in business. But, you know, put extra bubbles in the bath. Don't be afraid to break the rules occasionally, because sometimes the rules can be broken. You know, just because your child goes to sleep at 8 o'clock every night doesn't mean that during the holidays they can't go to bed at maybe 9 o'clock. Perhaps you wanted to do a movie night, you know, so you normally don't let your child run in the rain. But do you know how much fun it is to catch raindrops on your tongue and run barefoot on the grass? So sometimes, I'm just asking. So sometimes break the rules. And
Okay, so you've got no problem connecting with your inner child. I can see that right now.
Not at all. No, you've met me. No, not at all.
Yeah, I think, you know, from my side, Judy, what I try and do, maybe this is why I'm not so much of a fun mom, is because I've got such a huge workload. And I've got 2 young ones at home. I mean, I know you've had that you've got 7 kids, but, you know, Hamish is your lot lamaki, so you've got the older ones as well. But from my side, what I do during the week is I'm on a strict routine. And we go from school, we come home, we do homework, we do lunch, we do this. But I have to keep it that way so that I can cope. But one thing that I do, and I love Fridays, because Fridays is my play day. Fridays is my live video, which for me, I find, I mean, it's work, sure, but it's fun. I really enjoy it.
Yes.
And then after the live video, I often go have a bubble bath myself, so that I can rejuvenate and get my energy levels kind of like right. And then I fetch my kids. And we have, so Monday to Thursday, we have a really, really strict routine. And then on a Friday, I have no rules. You can have chocolate for lunch. You don't have to brush your teeth. You don't have to bath. You don't have to take your uniform off and hang it in the cupboard like you have to do every single day during the week. You can wear your school uniform for the whole weekend. And then I'll take it off you on a Sunday to wash it. I don't care. So, you know, I think, you know, like you say, you need to know when you can kind of break the rules and when you need to kind of stick to routine. And I think that from my side, that's important. And I mean, I think I'm a fun mom. I have no rules on a Friday.
I think so. You sound like a fun mom.
I'm going to question my kids later. I'm actually going to get down into it. I am actually a fun mom sometimes.
See, Lynne, with my older kids as well, we had a very strict routine. It was incredibly strict, but it was broken with moments of madness, our chaos. And I think that's also what makes it so much more fun, because it wouldn't be fun if we were fun all the time. So you see, this is it. So we've also, our children need to know the boundaries. They need to know structure, but they do also need to know that it's okay to play. It's okay to let loose. And they need to see us do that in order for them to know that it is okay. Because so often, especially with a busy schedule, I know a couple of months ago, with our move and my workload going up and everything, I actually sat in tears one day because Hamish had to fall asleep. He didn't have to fall asleep. He had his bedroom, but he didn't want to sleep in the room. And he had to fall asleep in my office on the floor behind me. And I actually have a post up about it. And I was literally in tears. And because I felt I'd failed my child, I hadn't given him that fun moment because I needed to be there and I needed to do work. And I had to focus on this because, like rent's got to be paid. And in the interim, although he'd had his bedtime story, we hadn't had our normal fun and games and whatever. And to me, I failed him miserably. That was like, he thought it was so awesome. He asked if he could sleep on the floor again in my office. I was devastated. I was like, you do not understand. I spent the whole night sobbing my heart out because I thought I'd failed you and you wanted to sleep on the floor again. So I think, we're busy people. Most moms especially are now a lot of working from home. You've got your kids around you. It is stressful. Sometimes it's incredibly hard to disconnect from the busyness and actually say, hey, you know what? Let's make this a little bit more fun. But that's where the small things come in. That's where when you're making breakfast, switch it up a little. If you're going to have bread, cut it into shapes. Like Hamish goes to school with little hearts. He goes only with hearts or stars because one day he's a superstar and the other day it's because I love him. Notes in the lunchbox. These are small, simple things that you could do that just put that connection back with your child throughout the day. So, for example, your 9-year-old's at school all day and she opens her lunchbox and there's a note from mom. It doesn't have to be I love you. It could be a little sticker. It could, like depending on how sucky our kids are. Some of them don't want us anymore yet. Mom, don't you put that note in there. But put a little note in or put a sticker in, put a flower in, cut her sandwiches in a specific way. That's just for the two of you. That becomes your love language and your connection. So Hamish and I and now everybody who's listening are the only people who know why he has the hearts or the star in his lunchbox and what it means. So that's our little special, And also the other thing is we'll get to school and I tell him to fill me up with love for the whole day. So then he just hugs me and hugs me and hugs me and then I hug back. And I read something somewhere that says, don't let go until your child is ready. So when you're hugging your child, don't let go until they are ready to let go. Always let them be the first one to let go. And that has stuck. Well, then you carry him around. Get those Ubuntu carriers.
He's getting huge.
No, I know. I'm just saying. They do suggest that you let your child let go first. And that way they're filled up to the tips.
That's lovely. You know what my son does to me? When I say I'm tired, I'm going to go lie down. He follows me and I'm like, what are you doing? He says, I'm going to charge your battery. And he lie down and then he lies on top of me, stretched out and holds me. And he says he's my charger and he charges me up. But it's so easy for my son. He's such a lovable, touchy. Him and I are like the same. And then my older daughter is like, don't kiss me, don't hug me, don't touch me. She's like my husband. So they're both like, get out of my personal space. And then my son and I are like the cuddle bunnies.
But I find that I've got our children have such beautiful different personalities. And Hamish and I connect so well because our personalities are so in sync. And so we just understand one another. But some of my children and I do not connect all that well just because their personalities were so different. And I was a lot younger and I didn't have the knowledge that I have now, obviously. And so we butted heads a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just reading the comments on the side here.
So you are able to see the comments. I see them as well,
Yes.
but a lot of my guests struggle to find the comments. So Sharon and Darrell, you guys are once again in the live video portion side. And I think you've left some comments over here. Darrell, hi. Darrell says with lockdown and so many things happening, she's felt very guilty numerous times that she didn't spend enough time with her son and she needs to remind herself to put everything down and have son and mom time. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. But Doral, if you want your comments to count for the competition, you need to either come live on video or you need to whack it out of there and onto social media. I think for me, what's really hard as well, and I can like totally relate to Doral. Lockdown and the pandemic has made things really, really hard for me to, have enough energy to be a fun mom and a playful mom, and to get everything done and to kind of find some sort of balance. It's been intensely hard. And now with the kids back in school, I find it a bit easier. But one thing that I've implemented in our life is that I have a very, very strict routine 99% of the time. But I find that I like to be spontaneous at least once a week with my kids. So like on Wednesday, before I picked them up, I drove to the library to go get myself a book. And I saw that, number one, they said that because it's World Book Week, they are doing away with all fines this week. So if you go to the library and you exchange your books and you've got a fine, the fine's just gone. Now I had fines on both my kids' cards. Plus, they had little chippies and a water and some coloring pages and stuff for you to take for free. And I had so much to do. And I thought, seriously, let's just go get the children, come back to the library and do that. And they were like, what? We're supposed to be going home and doing homework. And I said, yeah, but we're going to go to the library. And they didn't know why. And they get there and they're like, wow, free chips, a free lollipop, a free water. They don't even like water. But yes, they're going to take their free water and they're going to drink it in the car because like, yo, this is cool. And I think that, to kind of let loose every now and then is a really, really good thing. I find it for me and for them just to every now and then let go, have a bit of fun. So I find that, if you're a stickler for routine like me, every now and then just let loose and do something fun, break out of that routine. And, it gets boring, doing the same thing over and over every day.
Oh, then I've also had a lot of people come and say to me, but it costs, with the pandemic, a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are now sitting in a completely different financial situation to what they were. And the idea of now having to entertain these kids and keep them busy and still be fun on top of that, with all these financial worries, and that also weighs quite heavily on them. And where I really relate to this is many, many years ago when I had all of these kids and I was trying to bring them up with very, very little. And something you just said to me now. So we would make use of so many of the free things that happen in our cities, or of the giveaways at the malls, or, so we'd be going in and, you have those little sample ladies. I don't think they do them anymore with COVID, but you used to have those little sample ladies in Checkers. My kids thought it was snack time, and they would just go and they would have the snacks. And we would do it was terrible. We would do strawberry, the library story hour and that sort of thing. And everything we did, we tried to make this big adventure. So although we had very little, we still turned it into an adventure. I shared the other day how we stayed in a game reserve for yes. I shared the other day how we stayed in a game reserve for several months. What actually happened was my husband had managed to get us in, my ex-husband, had managed to get us into a lot of bad debt. And so we found ourselves needing a place to stay very cheaply. And we moved into a game reserve that had a caravan park attached to it. And for several months, we stayed in this caravan park, and my children were none the wiser. And we actually told them they were living on this game reserve because we did. We had giraffes outside our tents. They could walk in. We saw the ostriches. They went playing outside the Moyo restaurants all the time. They were living the life. For us, we weren't so much. We were panicking. We needed to get a new house. There was a lot of stress going on. We counted pine cones for the day. We used the things outside as new toys. I remember that particular Easter was the first year I did an Easter tree. So we just broke a branch off in those mallow eggs. We hung the mallow eggs on, and they did this big hunt for this one box of mallow eggs among 6 kids. And I think regardless of where you're at financially, if you have the ability to turn something negative into a positive, bring your children into some kind of an adventure. Let them go away from whatever it is thinking, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, I really love that. And I think, from my side, I can feel that when I'm stressed out and I'm worried about stuff, it does seep through to my children. But if I can find a way to relax myself and relax my kids at the same time and have a bit of fun, it's good for me as well.
Completely, because in those moments, we got caught up in it. So we got caught up in the fact that it's not that bad because we were so preoccupied keeping them happy, busy, that we actually forgot that our situation was as bad as it was.
Yeah. I'm just checking the comments here. There was something. There's so many. I can't even keep up. Yeah. Okay. So what I also wanted to say is that there's lots of, like you say, there's lots of amazing things you can do. And there was one time my son didn't want to read his sight words, and it was last year during the pandemic, and he was very resistant, and things were very, very stressful. So what I did is I went and I bought some of those gold coins, and I came home and I had to do it for both my kids, of course. And before I picked them up, I made this whole treasure hunt. So when they arrived home, I gave them each a note, and it gave them instructions. They each had their own hunt, and it gave them instructions of where to go, or like a clue. And they had to move from place to place and find the next clue. And I tell you, my son read fine. He absolutely read fine. They found their coins, and they keep saying to me now, when are we going to do another treasure hunt? And I'm like, whoa. Guys. But I think it's important to do fun things like that, and you can tie it into learning or whatever your child is struggling with as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sending a certificate to say you're an official fun mom. Done. You can put it up and show the kids.
Yeah, and you don't have to do anything like extreme. I mean, like I bought those coins, which are pricey, but it's the fun that they really enjoy. You could have a packet of sweets and keep the packet in your cupboard and do treasure hunts and just put one sweet at the end for them. They're more than happy with that.
I did a supper for Hamish and his friend the other day, and all we did was me and cookie cutters. I have the biggest collection. If anyone's looking, my house. So I cut them each some cookie cutter from bread, took tomato sauce and put it on, grated cheese and just melted it in the microwave. And that was their pizza, and filled up a cup of corn for them. And then I'd run out of milkshake mix. So I simply added red food coloring to their milk. And they were at a restaurant for the night, and so it doesn't take a lot. It really, from simple things like if your child doesn't want to brush their teeth, just put a little toy, attach the toy to their toothbrush, tell them the tooth fairy left it there, and the tooth fairy is going to watch you. Obviously, these are for much smaller kids, and the tooth fairy will watch you. Our days are filled with a lot of wonder and a lot of imagination, a lot of magic, as Hamish would call it. So with St. Patrick's Day, I downloaded a little leprechaun laugh onto my phone, and I put a leprechaun onto my Instagram stories, and I told him this was what the leprechaun was. And the entire day after building his trap, this child was looking for the leprechaun. He kept coming back to my phone to look for the leprechaun. And we ended the day with Brent bringing home some Smarties and just leaving it with the trap fallen over. To him, that was amazing. That was just, it was magical. It was wonder. It's all he's been able to speak about for the last 4 days. It was very little effort. For me, it was the least amount of effort that I could have done in something. So being a fun mom isn't necessarily the mom who sits and crafts all day or goes running with her kids. It's putting that bit of magic back into someone's life.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And then just one thing I wanted to share that I do on a regular basis that sounds interesting when I say it like that I do on a regular basis, because I lose my shit regularly. What I mean by that is that I work from home and I get most of my work done in the morning, but then there's something that I do every afternoon that takes me at least an hour. Now I've got the children, I've got lunch, I've got shopping, I've got all this stuff, and then I've got this 1 hour minimum worth of work every day that I have to do between 4 and 6, like nightmare hour. And sometimes I lose my shit. Sometimes I'm so tired. I've just like, the kids are making a noise. I can't think. I get a migraine because I'm getting to that age now. When I get my period, I get a damn migraine. And some days I lose my shit. And what I do is when I get to that point where I know I'm going to explode, I literally close my laptop. I say to the children, you're doing your homework, put your pens down. Mom's about to lose it. And they're like, yay! Because they know what's coming. I say, get in the car, we're going to go get an ice cream. Because is it worth losing it, screaming at your kids? You're not going to get your work finished anyway because you're like, I don't do my work when I lose my shit. I can't concentrate. I really, some days I just get so stressed out. And I just feel that it's important to recognize that point where you're about to totally lose it.
Yes.
And just say, right, it's not worth it. Put everything down. Go eat ice cream. That's my rule. So when mommy's about to completely lose it, we put everything down, and I'll tell your teacher, I'll just send her a WhatsApp and say, I'm sorry, no homework today. We'll catch up tomorrow, whatever. And we just go sit and eat ice cream. And I think that's a nice thing to do.
I think it's lovely. We have a few things. Well, the first one is we have what we call cuddle days. So Hamish is doing grade double R, sorry. So he doesn't have to be at school. So if he needs a cuddle day, or I need a cuddle day, it's usually me. If one of us need a day to connect, he doesn't go to school, and we just spend the whole day playing. But I'm in a place where we can do that. So I'm listening to you, and you're going, we have those hours. I literally have such specific times where I can fit work in during the day. I think I worked it out the other day that during my actual day, I've got less than 4 hours that I can work. So I try really hard to get as much done in that. But often it doesn't always happen. And then like Hamish is at home like the whole of last week, and I still need to do the work because deadlines still need to be done. So what I'll do is I know I'm going to lose it if I need to get that done, and then I bring out what I call a quiet activity. So what these are activities that he often does next to me. So mom's working and you're working. He's not really working. It's like his Play-Doh, or he'll have a specific book that he can do, or, I'll bring out a puzzle that he can do quietly, with the promise that if I can get my work done, we can put this down and then we can go do something fun. Just because I need him to connect with me, and also understand that life isn't always fun. Sometimes we've got to do real life. And then now I've lost my train of what else I was going to say to you. Okay. But yeah, so that's, and I think also sometimes, with a lot of moms working from home, it gets more difficult. You've got to fit so much in. You've got the housework and everything. And I find with the housework, especially with my older kids, what I would do is we would make a game of it. So I would like, who can stack the dishwasher fastest? Or let's have a race and let's see who makes their bed first. Okay, I'm going to fold washing. Can you help me categorize the washing now? Come, so you do all the socks and I'll do all the sheets, or things like that. We need to sweep. Give your child, if they're little, give them a small broom to sweep with you. You do not understand how much fun that is for them. It is such a chore for us. But for kids, sitting and helping, when I was teaching, one of my students had never been allowed to use a dustpan and broom. And she was 4. And being allowed to use the dustpan and broom in class was like the highlight of her week. And I was like, you don't understand how many of us don't want to do that. But it was the highlight of her week, Lynn. And so we sit here and we think it's chores. But if you let them work alongside you, not only are you teaching them, about real life, they're learning life skills. They're also having fun, and they're with you. So you may think it's like totally off the wall, and they're going, yay, I got to spend some time with mom. Because sometimes you've got to be serious.
I love that. And I'm big on, like in the mornings, the kids put the vitamins on the table, they set the table. The thing is, I'm at home alone with my kids. Well, they're at school for a period of time, but I'm working. But from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. So from Monday to Friday, I'm basically a single mom. And it gets tough, you know, the amount of things that I need to do, the work, the household, the cooking, the homework, like all of that. And what I've implemented, which is what my mother's basically taught me, is that we all work together in the house to run the house. So my kids help me with the washing, they help with the dishes, they help with the sweeping. My son loves the new mop I bought. When we went to my parents' house at the farm, when we stayed there during lockdown, I've got the old-fashioned mop, you know, and she's got one of these very marked ones with the thing that you put over, and then it's like a flat thing, and he loved this mop at my mom's house. And he was like, every day when my mom swept, he would be like, I'm gonna mop. I need that mop. He's one of those mops, and anybody spills anything in the house, he's like, I'm coming. And I'm like, dude, you rock. That's his mop. And he uses
That is so sweet.
It shows an interest in sweeping, you know, and I think
Please let them.
I think you know what the difficulty is, and this is what I've spoken to a lot of parents, is that when growing up, you need that mop too, Darrell. I'll put a poster up. You guys are gonna love this. So when I was little, we all had to do chores every single day, and that was that. There were 3 girls, and so it was me and my younger sister and my older sister, and we did chores. And I grew up with, I don't know what age it started, but I've never done like no chores. We've always had chores to do for as long as I can remember. So I bring my children up the same way. And when I shared what my kids do, a lot of moms are like, wow, they do all of that. How did you do it? And I'm like, well, you start them young.
Yes.
And one of the challenges that parents have, and that I've had a lot, and I still have now, is that, like, I don't know why when they wipe, they put the cloth there and they wipe like this, and then all the juice doesn't get wiped up, it just gets pushed onto the floor. I don't know. It takes a long time to teach them how to do things properly. But the more time that you put into that at a young age, the better it's going to be. So if your 4-year-old wants to take the broom and sweep the floor, I mean, they're just going to make it more of a mess.
Yes.
Like, totally. But my advice is let them do it. You can sweep later when they go to bed and do the job properly. But let them do that.
There's a meme that goes around, or a little quote that goes around that's of a child cutting, and they go, if you always do it for me, pretty much, how will I know that I am capable of doing it? So by teaching our children from little how to do small, simple chores, and yes, obviously we need to redo it after they're doing it, but we're showing them that they're capable of doing that.
Totally. And you can make chores fun as well, like Judy said. That's something that I'm big on. And then just one other thing I wanted to touch on, like as its own separate thing, is to set aside time every day to connect and play, which Judy's touched on. For me, I don't have this huge amount of time available to dedicate to my kids. So, and then that is hard. But what I do is every morning we chat in the car on the way to school. Every afternoon when I pick them up, I don't put the radio on and just listen to songs and stuff. I ask them, how was your day? What did you do today? Who did you play with? What did you play? I always ask them, what was the best part of your day and what was the worst part of your day? And you'll be surprised the difference between saying, how was your day? Fine. What was the best part? And they tell you about something cool that happened. You say, what was the worst part? Sometimes they say, actually, there were 3 bad things. And some of them can be quite bad, like bullying or, so I find that kind of really connecting with my kids and asking deep questions it's not exactly fun, but it's a good way to connect with my kids. And then every breakfast, every supper, sometimes every lunch, depending on what work I'm doing and what I'm busy with. But every breakfast we sit down as a family, and every dinner we sit down as a family, except Fridays because there's no rules. Anybody can eat whatever they want. But every other meal, breakfast and supper, we always sit together as a family and we talk. There's no phones, there's no TV on. And I think that's for us anyway, that's really important. And then when I put the kids to bed, my husband baths them and puts them in bed now. Yeah, I lost my stuff. I lost my shit. Anyway,
We're not judging.
He's on bed duty every night since I lost it.
Brent is on.
Bath them until they leave home.
Brent is on. Carry Hamish to the toilet and check he wheeze before bed night.
Yeah. yeah, so anyway, he does that. And then when the kids are in bed, they read for half an hour on their own. They've got to read their library books. And then I come lie with them for a while. And what I do is something they love and something that keeps them in line is I have an app on my phone. I think it's called Child Reward. It's really cool. And you can set different tasks for each child, what they need to achieve during the day or what you hope they will. So I've got things like exercise, eat your healthy food, read a book, make your bed in the morning, tidy up after yourself. And we go through that and we just have a chat. And there's also superstar. So if they've been especially good, I give them superstar. And I can give them bad stars, which I don't like to do. Not at bedtime. I hand that out during the day. But at bedtime, we kind of go through all of those things. And it's a nice way of, I mean, it's not like fun, like leprechauns in the garden, but it's just a way that we connect and something that we do every day that makes them feel like they've achieved stuff. And yeah, so yeah, I think just setting aside time every day, specific times that your children know you're going to be lying in their bed with them, cuddling, if it's my son, my daughter, putting a pillow over her head so I don't kiss her. That kind of thing, it's become like a tradition. She's now told me I'm allowed 1 kiss a day.
No.
If I don't take my kiss today, I'm not allowed to take 2 tomorrow. It doesn't work that way, apparently.
Oh.
So I've got
She's
to get
good at this.
Yeah, oh, it's terrible. And if she's cross with me during the day, if I've misbehaved, my kiss gets retracted. She says, you're not getting a kiss tonight. Anyway, so yeah, we have those special moments that my kids know is just for them. It happens every single night. And for me, that's important, and for my children.
I think that connection is really important, because without that connection, you haven't got that relationship. So if you are trying to be silly with them, they don't know how to react to that. If you are now breaking the rules all of a sudden, on a Friday and you don't normally, they're like, but why? What have I done? So they're questioning these things. So without that connection, your relationship isn't strong enough for you to have that fun and go crazy and go wild. We have as I said, as much as it seems like I'm just haphazard and all over the place, we actually have we have a really strict routine. So my mornings are mostly to get Brent out the house, where Hamish will come and he'll cuddle with me, and then we get Hamish ready. And our time is that morning time where we stop and we look at spiders. And I love our walk to school. It's for me, it is it's the best part of my day. We sit and we talk and we play, and he'll jump. This morning I had to ask him not to jump in the puddles because I hadn't taken spare clothes. But I promised him when I go collect him this afternoon, I will take spare clothes so he can jump in every puddle on the way home. But yeah, so we have those small times where we connect, and that to me is really important. And I start to see a huge difference in the days that I don't connect with him. So we will have more, he might be a bit whiny, or he might throw a temper tantrum, or he might just not want to listen as much. And his cup is not full.
I love that, Judy. And I'm going to quote again something my mother said. She's very wise. And I've shared this before in a number of videos. And it was one time I phoned her in tears, and I'm like, Mom, I can't do this. I'm just so tired, and I'm this, and my kids, and my And she said to me, Lynne, how consistent are you? I said, I'm very consistent. I'm consistent all the time, except when I'm tired. And she's like, yeah, okay. So like, really, seriously, how consistent is that? I'm like, yeah, you're right. Okay, so like, I'm always tired. Yeah, okay. So I'm not that consistent. But I think, the thing to look at is that if I look at my day and my mental health and how I'm coping with everything, when I have a bad day and I'm struggling myself and I've got to get some stuff done, my kids will misbehave.
Yes.
And it's because they pick up on that stress. So it's the moments that I really need them to behave, because I'm like, heading towards that lose your shit point. That's the point that they misbehave and they start acting out. But if I'm consistent, and if I make sure to fill their cup first, and if I make sure to look after my own mental health, which is a biggie, then I find my days go a lot smoother. So if I'm consistent in giving them that special time, and, I've never said to them, I'm sorry, I'm too tired, I can't come and sit with you and do your stars and do your bedtime cuddle. I have to do that every single night. I have to chat in the car in the morning because it fulfills those needs. And if I fill their needs, then it'll be easier for me to get the stuff done that I need to get done if I meet that first.
One of the things I really wanted to touch with you while we were here, Lynne, was, do you always have to be a fun mom?
Oh, wait.
Oh, okay, sorry. Am I jumping ahead?
Boom.
Okay. Look at that.
Go.
And I'm going to say no. Okay, and so you're going, excuse me, Judy, what? No, you don't always need to be a fun mom. Okay, because this is where you've just spoken about consistency. If you are consistent in giving your child that structure, filling their cup, making life adventurous, offering the spontaneity out there, meeting them in play, you can have a bad day. It's okay. You can have a day where your kid literally just has screen time. I know, I said it. No, and I don't mean necessarily just has screen time, but you can have a day where you don't feel like being fun. That is also okay, because our children need to see that balance. Life is about balance. So here we're sitting and we're going, life is amazing, it's wonderful, it's all fairies and roses. And we're not introducing anything that isn't real to them. So there was one day where I was particularly tired and I wasn't feeling very well, and we had no time for puzzles and we had no time for play, and I was not going to go and create something, and I wasn't bringing out anything extraordinary, and I let Hamish just be bored, go and play with his toys and watch some screen time. And there's benefits to that as well. Being bored teaches them to use their own imagination, to entertain themselves. And obviously, I don't think there's much benefit to screen time, so I'm not going to say there is, but he watches educational programs. And at the end of the day, he came and he lay next to me and he said, Mommy, I missed you. And my heart just like, I know, right? It just like sank. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not even living up to my own name because I've been fun mama for so long, And I was like, oh, help. And I sat and I was, instead of berating myself, I realized my cup, and this is where you were at, my cup is only able to give to others if I fill it up myself as well.
Very important.
100%. We can't teach our children anything if we're not feeling that way. I'm a big, I really do believe that if I want to teach Hamish something, for example, my other kids, if I want to teach them something, for example, I need to be that person. So if I want to be a fun mom, I need to feel it as well.
I love what you said there about that, and about boredom.
Yes.
Is that if we entertain our kids all the time, they're not going to know how to deal with boredom and how to get creative on their own. And I think that's a very important skill. And now this is something my mother did to me. And my daughter came to me a while back. She goes, I'm bored. What are you going to do for me? And I looked at her and said, if you're bored, honey, I've got lots of ways to keep you busy.
The chore list.
And she was like, yeah, I'm so bored. So I took out a list, a piece of paper, and I wrote, clean the toilet.
Yep.
Do this, fold the laundry. And she's like, eyes go like this. I said, and when you finish with that and you're still bored, I have got loads of stuff that you can do. Anyway, she, with a very long lip, completed that list. And one occasion after that, she came to me, she goes, and I looked at her, what was that? What was that? Because I didn't feel like doing the dishes. And she's like, no, nothing. And off she's gone. And then
it looks like a dream.
My son telling my daughter, I'm bored. She says, shh, don't let mommy hear that, And I think that for any moms, your children come to you the whole time on holidays and go, I'm bored. That's what you do.
It especially works with older kids. I once locked Tammy and Sean in a bathroom together and their personalities clash. And I locked them in this bathroom together. And I was like, you can both work together to clean that bathroom because you're both so bored. I think they were about 15 and 13 or 15 and 12. It was a long morning.
Yeah, so this is not exactly a tip on how to be a fun mom, because I don't think
No,
they're fun
not at all.
fun,
No,
but
that was
this is
not
a
fun.
mom survival tip.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was something else I wanted to also bring up that you mentioned, but it's just gone out of my brain. Yeah.
About boredom? Okay.
I can't remember. It's just totally gone. It'll come back to me at some stage.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. So now, are we done on do I always have to be a fun mom?
Yes, I think it's important to not, Instagram puts out there, and I'm going to be the person who says this. Instagram puts out there that we always need to be like everybody else's little squares. But it's such a small sliver of time that we're showing. We do not always need to be that fun person. The consistency that you spoke of, the ability to break the rules, the balance that we need to put it out there, and meeting our child in play, those really are the most important. So if you're having an off day, the most important thing is to remember that your cup's got to be full first.
I love that you bring up Instagram, because Instagram is, for me, one of the biggest, and I've spoken about this, culprits of fakeness and inauthenticity. Yes. And this is why I love Judy so much, because everything you see is completely real. There's no Photoshop.
No, nothing.
In Judy's photos, you can see it. And I think that, I've had some people inbox me and I'm like, I'm sorry that is the perception that that you see, you know what I mean? Like, because I try and show myself as the mom that I am. Quite frankly, I'm a messy mom. I'm a hot mess mom. I don't get everything right, mom. I stuff up. I lose my shit. I scream at my kids sometimes. I hate it. It's bad. I apologize. I try to make right. I try juggle. I don't always get that right. And just for some reason, like, one mom inboxed me. She's like, share with me your tips on how you have this great balance. And I'm like, what, me? What? Are you want that Instagram mom over there with the white couch? I don't have balance, and I think so much now is done online, especially with this pandemic. And moms are seeing this picture perfect mom with the perfect hair and the perfect, I'm sorry, I don't believe any of it for a minute. And I'm not trying to insult any bloggers here. I'm just saying that, what you see is not always reality of what's behind the scenes. So, Judy's one is pretty spot on. I've been at her house. We've done some stuff together, activities with the kids. It was quite cool. Judy, they say, is a fun mom, not me.
I'm sending your certificate.
I'm gonna put it in their faces. Judy says, I'm a fun mom. I passed.
Any other moms under there want to inbox me? I'm making them.
Perfect. So, Judy, you've now given me one talking point, and this is what I want to know.
Tell me.
What is the biggest secret to being a fun mom?
Okay. Are you ready for it? Play.
Got my pen? Got my paper?
Okay, play.
Just play.
Play. You need to get down to your child's level, and you need to play with your child in the way that best brings out their personality and their love language. So for Hamish right now, for example, it's all about magic. Everything is about magic. Everything is magical because he's 4. So I can tell him there's a magical bunny running under there. We're going to go and hop after the bunny, or we can play these games with pirates in the bath, and that is literally what he finds fun. As some of my older kids grew up, reading with them outside was fun. I was playing with them. Doing a craft with one of my sons is incredibly arty. So when I sat down and I did an art project with him, I was playing with him. So the biggest secret to being a fun mom is to play with your child.
I love that.
I think you put it so nicely. You said is to find your inner child, and pretty much that's what it is.
Well, on that note, there's another thing that I do sometimes that I wanted to add in, and this kind of ties in with what you've said. And who said this to me as well? It ties in with one of my other, the live video that I did with Grace Stevens on baking tips for kids' parties. She said, sometimes we as parents want to so overcomplicate things.
Yes.
And she said there was one year where she said to her child, what 3 things would make this like a top 10 party? And she said the things that they said was like, she was going to do this elaborate thing and it's expensive and this and that. It was going to take her days to make it. And they said something so simple. She was like, what? That would make it like the best party of your life. Like, okay, we're going to do that simple little thing that takes 5 minutes. And I think I like what she said there, and it ties in with something that I do with my children every now and then. Every now and then I can feel that we need to just let loose. We need to do something fun because otherwise we're all just going to be in tears. And I say to them, I want you each to write down 3 to 5 things that you would like to do right now. And once you've done that, I'm going to look at it. And I mean, if one is go to Disneyland, well, I don't have the money for that. I don't have like that. That's out, But write down 3 to 5 things that you would love to do right now. And then I'll look at it and I'll choose one. And if there's a couple that are viable, I say to them, right, put little stars next to say, these are the 3 that we could do between the stuff that you guys said. And then I say, you guys can either come to an agreement or I can just pick one randomly. And, it's little things often that they want, small little things, want to build a puzzle. So, I mean, what would make your day right now? They don't choose Disneyland. They want to sit with you and they want to build a puzzle. Or the one time one of them said they want to go down to Scott's nursery down the road where they've got a couple of animals. You pay like 10 Rand for a bucket of food and then they feed the goats lettuce and stuff. And that's what they wanted to do. They just wanted to go there and feed a goat lettuce. And I think this is something that I really enjoy doing with them when I have some spare time on the weekend. I say, like, what are we going to do today? So that's something that, you can implement. And sometimes, like I say, the things are so simple. It's something so much smaller than you were expecting to do, but it really makes their day.
When I was bringing up the 6 older kids, one of the ways that we would connect would be I would take one child at a time. So because there were 6 of them, each one had a day, and I had to go buy bread, and we would walk to the shop, just one child, and that would be their special time to connect. Because, I mean, you can imagine in a house of 6 kids, where do you find the time to connect with them all? And we'd get to the shop and I'd buy them a single lolly, those red lollies or the cream soda lollies, or I can't remember what they're called. And we would walk back and I would always say, I love you most, but don't tell your brothers. And I would say that to all of them. And then the one day they ratted me out. It was really, really funny. But also on the birthday thing, I asked Hamish this year, what did he want for his birthday? And he said, I want balloons and a cake. That's it. All he wanted for his birthday. So we woke him up with balloons, and I'm totally against balloons. If you've been following my page, I am anti-balloons 100%. They are. But he wanted balloons and a cake. So I filled his bed with balloons and we made him a cake. Brent drove around trying to find this cake, and it's got smushed in the car. It's the first time I've heard my husband panic. I actually thought he was going to cry. He was devastated. A taxi had pulled in front of him, and the cake had smushed. And he came home, and I grabbed the dinosaurs, and you know where the smush mark was? The dinosaurs were digging into that and eating it. Hamish came out the room and saw that there were dinosaurs on his cake, and they were eating his cake with him. Best birthday cake ever. My husband was sitting still hyperventilating. And what you said about us overcomplicating things is we do. We want it to be perfect, but we want it to be perfect from an adult's point of view as opposed from a child's point.
Totally. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, that was the thing I forgot, is that I am the caregiver, I am the nurturer, I am the discipliner.
Yes.
My husband, not so much. And part of being, I think, not me being the fun parent, is allowing my husband to get silly with them and allowing my husband to break the rules. And, sometimes they come to me and say, Mom, can I have a glass of Coke? No, it's during the week. You can have Coke on a Friday. And then I hear them sneak to Papa. And they're like, Papa, can I have a glass of Coke?
And he just deals.
Sometimes I lose my nerve. depending on my mood. But, it's good to allow that. And
Yes.
I'm very strict with bedtime. Once I've kissed you goodnight and I've turned off that light and I've walked out that room, you make a peep, eh? Don't do that. But it's not necessarily that I'm so strict on bedtime. It's just that I'm so tired. I've had it. Like my day
with you.
Like done. But sometimes my husband will go there and he will do something silly. And then you just hear the screams of laughter. And then you hear the kids climbing out of the bed. And then you hear an attack going down. They're jumping on him. You know what? Put your Netflix on your phone. Put your headphones on. Watch Ginny and Georgia.
I recently
leave it. Yeah.
Complete different interview topic here, but I recently had a conversation with someone about how differently dads interact with their kids to how moms interact. And I said, like we as moms, because often we are the primary caregivers and the default parents, we've got it all. So we try and balance being that fun parent as well as being the disciplinarian and everything else that comes along with it. And dads usually have it a little bit lighter and they can afford to just let loose all the time. But dads also like to roughhouse and they like to play completely different to how. So Hamish and I play pretty calmly. And when he plays with dad, oh my word, like those guys are out there and they are doing whatever it is that guys do, And that's important for our kids as well, because that balance, that balance helps them when they are later interacting with other people. But also, that is dad's connection with them. So we need to, as moms, not try and enforce those rules and let dad have that time with them as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And dads have it easier. Boom. Sorry.
Yeah. No, well, look how
you have it a little easier. And I'm like,
I was being politically correct.
It was very politically correct. Congratulations. We can agree
you.
to disagree and just let's get into the.
I'll send an email.
Cool. So I think
Nazmira said the biggest secret to being a fun mom is being yourself. Yes.
Yeah, totally. We've got Nazmira. Oh, yes, that's exactly what you said. But Nazmira, you are in the live video section. So unless you want to come up on video and say hi to everybody and share your stuff, please pop out and come back in the comments on Facebook or on YouTube. And then I'm going to go over here and we're going to check out some. There are so many comments.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, the best medicine for me, is I get so stressed and I've got all the stuff I've got to do and I'm just feeling, and then when I say, let's go have an ice cream and the screams of joy and happiness, I immediately feel better.
Yeah.
And when I've gone out, we've had that ice cream, I'm happy, they're happy, we've let loose, then I can come back and my work's a bit late, but at least it's done and it's done in a nice, happy, healthy way. I mean, there's no better medicine than hearing your child laugh and be happy.
Yes.
I totally agree with you. It's beautiful. Yeah, we've got Elaine, knowing when to be fun and knowing when to be strict. Totally.
See, that's the balance that we talk about, is being able to just still have that consistent happy home and just add that bit of spontaneity and fun and magic in it as well.
Yeah. And there's Darrell saying she was also overcomplicating it. She wanted to go somewhere more special, but he just wanted to go to the spur. And Sadiqa, if you just ask your children what they want and what would mean so much to them, I mean, I think you'll be very surprised. In fact, I haven't done that in a long time, and I think that I need to do a little bit of that this weekend because I have had a tough week with mental health and with just energy levels. And I don't know if I told you, Judy, I had the Mirena put in last week to help me with my eye problems. We won't go into those gross problems I'm having. I've now been so down the last few days. I've been like really depressed, and like it's come on so quick. Like I'm wading through thick mud. I can't get anything done. I don't have the motivation or the enthusiasm. And I've been trying to figure out what it is. And apparently the Mirena a lot of women who go on the Mirena get prescribed antidepressants soon after getting on. So I'm like, okay. So I need to loosen it up and do something fun this weekend.
You're coming to visit me next week. Brent is going away. I'm having a fun mama party.
Next weekend when the school holidays start.
Yeah. No, he's away he's away the whole week coming. But you're welcome anytime.
Ooh, maybe we will. I don't know. I have to do something fun in the holidays, so maybe I'll catch up with you.
You guys may see us again.
How do you pronounce this name, Judy? Tashigo Fatso. Tashigo Fatso. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I did try.
I'm not sure.
You are welcome to correct me. Yeah, and I think, this is all about, it's not just about, oh, I'm a fun mom, I'm so cool. It's about just connecting with your kids and finding out what they want and meeting those needs. So, yeah, chat to them.
And one of the points, which I will put the points up, I'll actually give Lynne the points, was to get your child's input on what makes you a fun parent, or what they want to do, or what they would think is fun. And that way we don't overcomplicate it. And we do make it more simple.
Oh, yeah, here's on the cheap side, trying to, get things for less to make things fun for your kids. Yeah, I love all the, if you go to Bargain Books, you can join the Bargain Books Club or you get student discounts. They also give often vouchers. I don't know if they're doing that anymore. They used to do it, and I think they've stopped it. If you go to Bargain Books, Langebaan, and you say it's for your child, they give you like 10% off the books. You can get the Spur birthday vouchers, Panarati, all of that.
I actually have a blog post on all the things you can do in Cape Town for free with on your birthday. So, for example, you can go up Table Mountain, you can get a ride on the wheel, and there's quite a few things that you can do. You could actually and you get an aquarium ticket as well. So you can actually be a tourist in your town for your birthday.
Does the aquarium let you go free on your birthday?
Yes, on your birthday, take your ID. And there's also several places out there that give you, so like a South African discount. So many of the national parks, so like Cape Point, for example, give you a reduced rate if you show your SAID. Boulders as well.
Oh, lovely. That's fantastic. I've made a note. I'm going to have to add that in here. Sidiqua says if her husband had his way, they would eat like sweets and cookies every day.
My husband too.
You know what? My husband will let me sleep as long as I like on the weekends. But you don't know what he's going to feed them for breakfast or allow them to eat. So the longer you sleep, the bigger the problem is when you wake up. But that's also fun for the kids, because then they're like, shh, what? I hear them sound, Mom's sleeping. Pass me the chips. And sometimes you got to let that go. And then, who said that? Oh, Darrell, you've heard the device has side effects. Yeah, I knew that it could make cramping and maybe weight gain and migraines and all of that, but I didn't understand the mood stuff. And I actually have bipolar disorder, and I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict, and I've got let's just say that I've got a lot of experience with mental health. So I didn't actually know that this was a problem, and I'm on mood stabilizers already. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to wait till next week, and I'm just going to be kind to myself. I'm just going to binge Netflix for a couple of days. Got a kid's birthday party. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to say. This is one thing that I find really important and that my kids love about me. We always accept invites to every single party and every play date, because, well, I don't know. I'm just the kind of person, when you get invited to a party, you go. So unless we like going to my parents' farm or something, pre-pandemic, obviously, we go to every single party. And even if it's during the week and we get invited to a party or a play date or anything, well, then routine be stuffed. We go to that party. And I think that's a nice rule to have. Let's see what we got. Lane. Oh, your baby's turning 4. Happy birthday.
Oh.
Oh, I also make my kids cake every year, and it looks very homemade. But they love it.
Yeah, the cakes I make definitely don't look like those beautiful ones that you have out there. But Hamish helps me make Brent's birthday cake every single year, and every year it looks interesting.
Yes. Oh, have you seen the live video I did with Grace Stevens?
No, but her feed is amazing.
Yeah, but you see, now I asked her a number of questions, and like a couple of them was how to make your homemade cake not look so homemade. She's got some fantastic tips.
Okay, so I'm going to go and look.
My cake game is going to go up. Oh, you know what we could do as well? I've got a free voucher for buttercream piping techniques. So you know when you make flowers?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm capable of that, but apparently Grace thinks I have what it takes and that she can teach anyone.
I think we can do this. I think
so
we can do this.
I could come to Cape Town. We could make that together.
Let's do this. Done.
Yeah.
We may have to show the results, a before and after.
Yeah, and my plan is that on my birthday, which is in a few weeks' time, it's on the 2nd of April, I'm turning the ripe old age of 42. I always make my own cake and cakes for everybody, like my family, every year. And I want to put some of those little things on, and I want to try all the techniques that Grace has taught me. I've had that voucher since I don't know. I've had that voucher for a long time, and it's just pandemic and everything has been crazy. So I really want to get going with it. And if I make a commitment to do it with you, then we're like,
okay, it's done. We're doing this pre-birthday celebration cake making.
Perfect. And Sadiqa, is it safe to attend birthday parties during the pandemic? No. I think it's something that each parent has to check for themselves. And there has actually been 1 or 2 parties. I'm not talking about, when I shared that wasn't specifically during the pandemic. That's just the rule that we've always had. Of course, the pandemic brings in a whole stack of new and interesting rules. And I think it's important for every family to decide for themselves. So we're going to a birthday party on Monday. This is a family that homeschools their children. And the party is in a park. And I think there's no more than 10 children going. So we're able to social distance. We're outside. It's very small. So, now during the pandemic, there's been a couple of party invites that I've declined. Obviously, during one of the waves, we don't go to parties. It's only when things are like low, like it is now. But I think each family, we all need to decide what we're prepared to do and what we're not prepared to do during the pandemic.
We do play dates, but we do play dates with people we know, follow a very similar social distancing rule to us. We know that they aren't mixing in areas where our kids could be at a greater risk, or we could be at a greater risk. It's usually people we have really close association with. So, like, for example, if we got a invite from Hamish's class, he is already spending time with the child in the class. So depending on where the party's at, how many people are going to be there, and what social distancing aspects they're putting in would depend on, we've done several of those drive-through parties.
Oh, cool. I haven't done one of those yet. And Danielle's saying that throwing a birthday party during a pandemic can present challenges. Yes. Yeah, we usually have a joint birthday party for my kids every year in, say, the middle of November. And last year, look, I said to my kids, I said, we can have a party, but this is how it's going to have to go. And I said, why don't we rather wait until this is all over, and then we can just throw like a massive party. We usually have quite a big party where I invite both my children's friends, usually most of their class, and maybe 1 or 2 other people, but I invite the siblings and I invite the parents. So it's like a very family orientated thing. And I just said to my kids, the way we do it every year, if you want to have your party now, it's not going to be like that. We're heading into the second wave. It's not going to be, everyone's going to be wearing masks. We're going to be outdoors. You're not going to be able to be close to everybody. We can't have the same food because I usually do platters where everybody's fingers go in. and I just said, like, we're not going to be able to, it's not going to be your vision of what your party's going to be like. And I asked them what they wanted to do, and they said, no, let's rather wait and have like a big party, a big bash. So we didn't have a birthday party last year. And even though we're kind of stable now, I said, when things are over, we can have a party, but it's not over. It's not over yet. You can't have a party with no masks and no social distancing yet. So, I don't know. And once again, I think each family has to decide for themselves how they want to do it. We don't want to, for us, the idea of having a party is to just let loose and have fun. And we don't want all those restrictions. So we're waiting.
Something we did for Brent's birthday this year was Hamish and I gifted him a game of putt-putt. And we went to go and play putt-putt. So you could do something similar as opposed to throwing birthday parties, is to choose an experience to share with your child this year. That something that they may have wanted to do, or, something as simple as going bowling or playing putt-putt, or maybe they wanted to take an art class or something, and you could do that with them. The best gift that I've received from Tammy, my eldest, is we went and we did a Lynne cooking experience together.
Oh.
So that was lovely. Lynne, you got to do that one.
Nice.
We made macaroons. I was so, if you think I was anxious before this video, I was so anxious. I was like, there's no way I can make that. And you can. And they give you a tube of that macaroon stuffy that has chocolate in it. Yeah.
Nice. Lovely. Cool. We got Darrell. Yeah, and you say they also have to live as well. And I think this is an important aspect with our kids, is that I do totally agree. We need to be careful. We need to be safe. But our children's mental health is another huge aspect. And if we just stop living and we just stay indoors and we don't go anywhere because we're so scared, I mean, what is that impact going to be on our children as well? So, yeah, I mean, there's so much that everybody has to take in. Sadiq's got a Down syndrome daughter.
Sadiq, have you tried the bucket hat with so Hamish has a bucket hat, and you can buy them from Mr. Price, and it actually has a screen, but it's a soft plastic screen. So it's almost non-invasive. So when he wears it, he's able to go into the shops. It still does the protective covering for him. And but it doesn't have that feeling of being constricted or not being able to breathe. So he has severe allergies. So wearing a mask for him is choking. He actually almost chokes on it. It's definitely an option to look at.
Totally. I've seen those. They're really cute. I've seen Hamish's one online.
Yes.
Cool. Let's just see. We've got Leanne. Cake making skills are not great. My cakes taste the fun. Okay. In my defense, my cakes really are tasty. They just are seriously homemade.
Oh, I've had some of mine that weren't even tasty, Lynne.
I've got a recipe for you that you cannot ruin, because if you can ruin it, I would have done it already. And I've got a cake recipe, I've got a cupcake recipe that is literally no flop. And my children, and talking about having fun, every year we make the cakes and the cupcakes together. And we ice it together and we decorate it together. And it's about the experience. And I think for me, I love creating traditions that we do. Like when I was growing up, we always did this on our birthday, and my grandparents did this with us, and Christmas we did this. And I love that. And for me, every year, the day before their birthday, although Grace corrected me, you can make the cake 2 to 3 days beforehand, which will really make things easier on you. So yeah, if you guys bake for your own kids' birthdays, you have to watch that video. I learned so much. It was incredible. And I've got a blog post up on that now. But for me and my kids, we make that cake together. We do the icing. We decorate it. We all lick the spoons and the bowls and everything.
Yes, best part of baking.
Exactly. And the cake is lopsided and has a huge dome and all of that, which Grace is going to sort out for me. She gave me tips. I'm so excited. My cake is going to rock this year.
I think we need
to step up.
We're going to need that link on Fun Mama as well. I'm telling you now.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Alina wants to know about the recipe. The recipe is actually on my website. Not the cake recipe, but the cupcake recipe. It's a no flop no flop chocolate cupcakes. So I will reply to your comment later after the video and put the link in. Yeah, it's like a fantastic recipe. I like totally love it. What have I clicked on now? Oh, we have a chocolate cake. Wall cake.
It's fun to have the kids decorate it. It really is, you know. That brings in the part of that tradition.
Oh, and that's the other thing I wanted to say about having fun with your kids. And someone also mentioned it about the kid loves making a mess.
Yes.
I think that when the kids are young, forget about the mess. Because like when my husband comes in after on the day before their birthday, he comes in and his eyes just go like this. Because I'm so messy. I can't make icing neatly. Like you talk about food coloring, my house is going to be like blue. Because when I mix that cake and then like, I don't know why, like the icing, then stuff just splatters on my kettle and my wall and the microwave. And then the kids with the sprinkles. I mean, the sprinkles get everywhere. So my husband walks in and there's like blue splatter, pink splatter, toppings everywhere. And I'm just like, we'll clean it up after the party, you know?
But I think that I'll never forget when bigger kids were little. I had a friend who came in the one day and my dishes were piled in the sink and we were having this amazing big dance party in the lounge and I'd been babysitting her 5. So I had my 6 and her 5 and they were all over the place and they were just dancing and we'd been painting and I took an old mattress outside and we turned it into a pirate ship for the day. But my dishes were really piled in my sink. Okay, it was messy. If you walked into my kitchen, you could see what we had for lunch and how many cups of coffee I had. And she said, and my husband would come home at about 4:30, 5 o'clock. And she said, oh my gosh, like your kitchen's dirty. And I looked at all the rest of the mess and I was like, yeah, okay, that's the least of my problems right now. But it was so important for me to leave the dishes because I had hours to clean those dishes. You know, another time I gave them the packaging from an air conditioner box. It was all those little polystyrene things. We'd never do it now. I know a bit more about the environmental impact, but anyway. And for some reason, they turned it into snow into my garden. So there was this white polystyrene all throughout my garden for about 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can't vacuum that up either. I tried.
Look, I think when you make a mess, you've got to be clever about the mess. You know, sugar that is still on the counter, that can be wiped up. Polystyrene things.
Maybe don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so but not others. And, you know.
Part of being the fun mom is, you know, trying these things and learning which ones you'll never do again.
And it's interesting how, I mean, we sometimes have play dates here at the house and I let my kids bake and I let them go to live on the beach. They go on the beach, they come back, they're covered in sand. And for me, like all the kids are like, oh, we've got to wipe our feet. And I'm like, really, don't bother. It's not going to make a difference. Just go in and do your stuff, you know. And then I pick up all the wet clothes and the wet towels and the sand. And, you know, for me, it's like, let them play, let them have fun. And later, tomorrow even, you can tidy it up. Or if it's the weekend, you can just pretend it's not there. I do that very well. I live in denial sometimes.
I'd love to live in denial.
In fact, if you ignore it long enough, your husband might even get up and clean it.
I need to try this.
No, in the last year since the pandemic, I've had too much and the house has been really bad sometimes. And after like a day or two, sometimes he gets up and cleans the house.
Okay, I'm putting this to the test.
We had your comment up here. Yeah, the chocolate cakes that I use are oil-based. So it's not butter, it's oil. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I don't think I've ever made a cake with butter that has made it.
Like, no, I usually use an oil-based.
Yeah. And then Gold Sparkle says, Take a Lot has got those hats, the things.
Yes.
Perfect. Cool. Tashego Fat. I can't get your name right. I'm going to have to hear how you say it. You're going to have to like send me a WhatsApp or something. But yes, I'm glad you tried the brownie recipe. There were 2 on my website. One was Grace Stevens' recipe, and I was on her YouTube channel. It was so much fun. You've got to get to know Grace. Oh, I love that lady. And she makes the most beautiful things. Really.
I love her website. Like, I just drool from the minute I look at her. I do. I'm like, I'm there.
I've been to her house, and then you walk through and you see all the little things she's making for work.
Oh. I'm just going to say, Grace, if you need taste testers, we're available.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Let's see. You also want that recipe? Wow. Okay. Yeah, Sadiq. I mean, you can play around with the icing. I was told the other day that my icing is no longer the best. Some other mom sent cupcakes to school, and their icing is tastier. Like whatever. Anyway, but my husband also loves caramel, and it makes a beautiful, beautiful icing. Let's see. Saskia, when you bake this flour and stuff everywhere. I mean, when I bake, there's just like the house gets covered. I don't even know. We've got open plan.
Aprons? We don't know what those are.
No, I actually got some from that Sea Harvest. Oh. Okay,
I heard nothing.
I got some influencer drop, and I just gave the competitor's name. Okay. Crab Foods. Grace has always got Crab Food stuff. I think they've got some sort of influencer relationship, and they've got like amazing stuff. Yeah.
And you can order online.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she ignoring the mess does it. Yeah. I was saying in my video, I did a podcast thing with this other lady. It's like the Playful Mompreneur. I gave her your name. Anyway, we did that yesterday for a couple of hours. And like what I love is my house is double story, but the top story is like a loft sort of thing where you can see, but I put a bookcase. So I work upstairs, and it's all kind of neat up here. And then there's the house downstairs. So it gets quite easy for me to ignore the mess because we all live downstairs. The bedrooms are down there, all of that. And then I come upstairs. Like now I can pretend that the house is clean because what I see is all nice and tidy. It's fantastic.
No, I have a few rules. So like my office and my bedroom door get closed during play dates. And the kids can play anywhere else. You can make a mess anywhere else. You just may not go in my office and you may not go in my room. And so we have these small rules. If you want to paint, preferably rather paint in the dining room. So we've got to these places where specific messes can be made in special places because it's easier to clean. But Hamish painted the window the other day. Yeah, he loves that. Yeah, he loves that. That is like one of his favorite. And I cleaned it off before Brent got home. Okay, so Brent got home and Hamish went to go and show his artwork. And I had already cleaned it. And he was so upset. I had to let him paint the windows the next day. So my windows got clean because of he needed to paint. So I'm just saying, you can also use your child's mess to spring clean your house.
No, very clever. No, I don't do that. I have a lady that comes in just for a few hours on a Tuesday morning. And then I always see like, on a Sunday, I'm like, if I leave that there till Tuesday, am I a housewife? And I'm like, yes, I am. But no one's going to come here during a pandemic. I love a clean house, but you need the energy and the motivation and the determination and all of that to go with it, which I don't necessarily have. And I really detest cleaning. So yeah, by Sunday, I kind of start trying to see if I can leave it all there until Tuesday. Oh, it's so bad. And it's Friday. It's so long from Tuesday. But anyway, we'll be fun. Cool. So I think, Judy, we've covered like so much today. And let's just see. We got one more. Neat and tidy is overrated. Yeah, look, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, a home is a place to be lived in. And what I've also found is that when I have the kids playing, we play. We don't worry about the mess until later because otherwise it ruins the play. And I've totally found that, we had a girl come over to visit, and my daughter wanted to make blueberry muffins with her. And I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. And she's like, are they going to leave? Is she going to leave us to do it all on our own? I said, yeah, you can do it all on your own. Just read anyway, they put with the salt, they put in cups instead of spoons. But anyway, they had fun doing it. And at the end, their mom walked in, God, look at this mess, And I sugar. It's fine, And I think a lot of moms, we get so hung up on having to have this clean house, and society says you've got to have like everything nice and tidy. I mean, I'm not Superwoman. If I was Superwoman, I could have a clean house, but I'm not, and I'm not going to kill myself and stress myself out trying to do that.
But I think also, coming from not just a parent's point of view, but coming from a teacher's point of view, I've seen so many kids come into a classroom too scared to use paint, too scared to try something new, or to do an activity that might be too messy, because mom has perhaps been really oversensitive at home about how much mess is made when they do these. So sometimes we need to step back and we need to just really let our kids embrace that mess. You need to let them make the mess without the anxiety of having somebody going, can you just clean it right now? Because it does impact them as they go forward. Being allowed to be creative and messy and play teaches your child as they get older to go and try new things, to go be spontaneous, to go be alive. And, it's okay if I don't get it right. Well, then I'll try again the next time. Whereas if we as moms are constantly wiping after them as they're making mess, all we're doing is instilling a sense of anxiety within them and this fear of trying new things or making mess or perhaps getting it wrong.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, I do have boundaries. There are rules in place. There's things like you're not allowed to eat or drink or have any food or drink in the bedrooms. You eat and drink, and obviously not in the bathrooms. I don't know why anyone would take food in there, but
that doesn't make sense.
Drink in the kitchen, the lounge, and the dining room, and that is it. And the reason for that, they're kids. They're messy little, what? They're going to drop crumbs and cookies in their bed and ants and no. So no, you're not allowed to eat and drink in the bedrooms. And you can play with whatever you want. You can throw toys all the way down the road. I really don't care. But at 5:00 when I come and I start preparing for supper, you're off your screens. You're going to come and help. You're going to tidy up. You're going to pack away, and you're going to help me get the house mostly looking okay. And they know that whatever they miss, they've got to help me clean up. And that's simple. You can miss whatever you want, but then you are going to tidy it up. And
but
it's that responsibility.
But you see, Lynn, that's where the consistency and the balance comes in to being that fun mom.
Yeah, you're going to have fun, but there's going to be a mess left behind. And I'm not going to be the servant. It's not a hotel.
I wish it was, because I'd like to book into that hotel for a while.
Ooh, I would love to be able to make a mess and just leave it there. That would be like so cool. But no, I've got, in my reward chart every evening, there's a star of cleaning up after yourself. So if you don't clean up after yourself, then we talk about it when we do the rewards. And they learn. Oh, yes. Oh, Jarrell, the stereotype of what we're supposed to be. No, thanks. Choose a day to clean and do everything. Yeah, I have a lady that comes and that cleans everything once a week. So and you know what? That's my gift to me because I deserve it. And then the rest of it, I just kind of try to keep on top of it. And then she comes and cleans once a week. I absolutely love it.
I don't have anyone come in and clean, but I do my cleaning in bursts. So I'll clean as I go along. But then the times that I spend with Hamish are our times. So the dishes can stay, the washing can stay. If the bed is unmade, it's unmade. And then, as you said, 5:00, that's like my cutoff. You're going to bath. I'm going to tidy. We're going to get the house looking somewhat less chaotic.
That's part of routine. They get into the habit of doing that. So, yeah. Cool. I think we've covered everything as long as things are hygienic. Yeah, totally, Saskia. Yeah, we mustn't let it get gross.
No, because that's not fun.
Yeah, Saskia, on that, you've got 3 kids and the youngest is 2 months, and you barely have time to shower. It's interesting. When my daughter was born, I phoned my mom the one day and I said, I can't even shower, But it's a choice that we make to not get in the shower, and then maybe we don't hear our baby crying or something like that. Although I suppose if you've got a 2-year-old, you can't go get in the shower and leave a 2-year-old running around the house on their own. But with a newborn baby, I had this thing where like I couldn't shower until my husband got home, because I did try it twice, but every time I got in the shower, I swear I could hear a baby crying. I turn the water on and I hear the baby crying, and I turn it off and I'm cold and dripping, listening, and then you don't hear it, and you put the water on, you hear the baby crying. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't shower.
I used to take, those rocking chairs,
Yeah.
the metal frame rocking chair, and I'd put that in the bath with Hamish in the bath, and I'd shower talking to him while he was in the bath. And I did that for months. Just because. Yeah.
Totally. Cool. Is there anything else you want to add, Judy?
No, I'm just going to say pretty much the points that I brought up were to be adventurous. Don't be afraid to be silly. Meet your child and play. That is like my biggest one. Take time to connect with your child every day. That was vital. Meet your child's love language and adjust the fun level to that language and their personality. And obviously, you're taking yours into consideration. Get your child's input. Something that seems fun to us may actually be disastrous for them. Yeah. And that's it. And the biggest secret for me to being a fun mom is to just release your inner childlike spirit and play.
Perfect. Awesome. Judy, thank you so much for
giving me Lynne.
This has been absolutely fantastic. There are so many more comments that I couldn't get to because there's just, so much stuff going on that I am going to, after I do a bit of Netflix binging and relax a little, I'll be back and I'll come reply to all of the comments. And yeah, this has been an absolutely fantastic live. And I think I'm more of a fun mom than my kids give me credit for.
I think so. And once you have that certificate, you can just prove it to them with cupcakes.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to choose a winner, and I'm going to choose, sorry once again if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, Kaboutjie Siversat. I'm going to put that, winner. I can spell it. Add banner. Boom. Okay, so here's our winner. You can either inbox me on Kaboutjie, my Facebook page, or you can pop me an email to lynne@kaboutjie.com. If you're not here for the end of this live video, I'll come and find you later and I'll tag you and get hold of you. You have won, boom, boom, a 250 Rand Takealot voucher. And you're winning that because I love Takealot. I'm such an online shopping addict. I just love getting stuff delivered. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And Judy, once again, thank you. It's been so much fun.
Lynne.
Pleasure.
Okay, thanks, Lynne. Bye.
Bye.